Welcome. Good morning. It's 8:31 on Tuesday, the 6th of April, and this is the Mayor Manager meeting with Linda Olson, Jade Truscott-Reed, Kendra Carberry. Welcome, Kendra, Nathaniel Sierra, Shawn Lewis, and Stephanie Carlisle. Present.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor. Kendra, would you like to introduce yourself?
You're muted.
Sorry, there you go. Sorry, my internet was a little off this morning. This is Kendra Carberry. It's good to see all of you. We are, as you know, our law firm is acting as the interim city attorney, and there are a bunch of us trying to accommodate all your meetings. So today you have me. I hope it went well with Dan last night. I know there are a couple things that we may want to talk about from last night. I'm not sure how this meeting works, but happy to answer any questions. He did get me up to speed on that.
Yeah, it went well last night. Thank you for showing up this morning. And one of the things, because it's so early, we don't turn our videos on, but you are welcome to turn your video on.
Okay, no, that's fine. I wasn't sure. It's always a little awkward because I don't know. Some people don't like it if you don't turn it on. So
yeah. Yeah, we've just decided because we've been up late together and we don't want to get up. Although I'm dressed and ready for work today.
Well, great. Anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
this is one morning I could have turned it on maybe, but I'm
Me too, for one.
All right, well, we'll start with April 12th. We'll have the city attorney interviews and then another round on the 13th. And then moving on to the 19th of April meeting, we have two study session items: sale of property to South Metro Fire, Citizen of the Year nomination and selection. And would you like to assign time frames to those two, Mayor?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm looking at this. I got to get it a little bit bigger on my screen. There we go.
It looks like we didn't give you timeframes on the first one there from staff, but it won't be more than, I would say, 5 minutes. You've already had the presentation, and we'll just be giving you the prize.
So actually, just a question on that. Shouldn't that be an executive session?
No, the only way that it could be executive session is if you don't like the price and you want us to enter into negotiations. But you directed us to negotiate, we negotiated, and now we're bringing the prize. So I suppose, well, I should just defer to Kendra.
To me, all of that is a negotiation. If we present a price, any type of conversation we have is a negotiation. So to me, that's executive session, regardless of whether we say, I don't know. To me, I'm just very, yeah, I think any information could be, to me, would be a negotiation. But yeah, I'll ask Kendra for her input on this.
Sure. So can you just give me a little bit more background on this one? So I mean, I agree with you. We could go in executive session for negotiation. Obviously the final decision has to be made out in public. So perhaps just give me a little bit more of what we want to talk about.
Yeah, I can help with that. So we own 25% of a fire training center in Littleton that's jointly owned with South Metro Fire, ourselves, and I think it used to be Littleton used to be an owner, but then they took over South Metro's portion. So
or South Metro took over their portion?
Thank you, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
So we were approached by South Metro more than a year ago about buying our portion back. They want to make major investments. We're not interested in investing capital dollars to the facility.
Right.
And so they offered to buy the property, and yeah, where we're at is we've arrived on a price which was similar to what council you saw previously.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think if council doesn't like the price, then yes, we should probably go in executive session to just talk about that more. If it's simply here's the price and council's going to vote and say, okay, great, let's do it, I think there's no need to go into executive session. And I don't know how you will know that ahead of time, but that would be my, that's what I would recommend.
Shawn, are there any other terms outside of price that are part of this negotiation?
Yes, we did negotiate to allow for Denver Fire to have use of the property up to 70 days. So that was one term. I'm not remembering others right now.
I think we need to do it in executive session in case there's, I mean, unless they said this is a hard fast and we know there's no other option and there isn't a negotiation. If we already know that this is take it or leave it, then Kendra, wouldn't that be a reason to? But still, we could have that conversation in closed.
Sure. I think it's fair to have that conversation behind closed doors, and even if it is a take it or leave it, and say it's a take it or leave it. So there's not much more we can do, but all of that would qualify as negotiations if you want to do that first. And then if council says, great, it's a take it or leave it, we're going to go with it, then they can come out, you know what I'm saying, and
Right.
do that. But
Or we could say we're not selling. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Oh, okay. Executive session. So I got asked again from a new council member as to why we have to put this, why can we not just put executive session at the beginning of our meeting agenda? And I don't know the answer to that. I know before I was told no. I know in the past we've done things very differently. Stephanie and I were talking about the fact that when I first came on council, we never read anything at all. I mean, we just, went into, everybody saw us get up and go into executive session instead of doing it. But we put it on the agenda, but that was it. And so we've gotten very, very detailed on things, which Kendra, you could help us with in getting it maybe shortened a bit, a little bit clearer. But is it possible to put this earlier on the agenda rather than voting on the agenda every time?
It is possible. Legally, it can go anywhere on the agenda that you would like it. It has to be during a regular meeting. So, if it's going to be earlier than your regular meeting time, then we'd have to just call it a special meeting. But it can go, an executive session can go anywhere that you would like. I think all you have to do is vote on where to put it. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're moving it from its current location on the agenda, you just vote to amend the agenda to move it. Other than that, it can go anywhere from a legal perspective. I know some communities have policies, or written or unwritten, saying they don't want to do executive sessions till the end because they don't like the public to be sitting there, and staring at a blank screen in this case.
Actually, that is what we'll do at this one. So I don't know why I brought it up, because we probably will put this one at the end, right? Doesn't make sense to do it at the beginning. We just had to do it yesterday at the beginning because of the timing for the firm we're working with.
Right.
So is any component of this still a study session, or is this going to be strictly an executive session as part of the regular meeting on the 19th?
I think it's exactly what we've done before. Stephanie, I raised a question that probably didn't need to be answered right now.
Okay. So we're eliminating this as a study session item, correct?
Correct.
Okay, perfect.
And just put it under mayor's choice is fine.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, do you want to assign a time frame for Citizen of the Year discussion?
Did we decide? Oh, actually, never mind.
Yeah, we never know what the discussion will be on next week. Yeah. So we've got 4 nominees, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I'd say that's going to be a 20 to 30 minute conversation. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, 15 to 20 minutes.
It might be quick. I don't know. I don't know who all they are.
Yeah.
Mayor, since we have an extra week on this and we're deleting an item, would you like us to put the issue that Mayor Pro Tem brought up last night that I think Councilmember Ward brought up previously?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what it was now.
Yeah, the BAC,
Yeah.
Yes, can BAC review the CIP budget?
Yeah, and can both the attorney's firm and the staff be able to give us a view of, what are the risks of doing this?
Yes.
I have no
Or do we
idea
have
if
an
there are
extra
any.
week.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Kendra, we can brief you, but we have a couple of council members who'd like one of our committees to review the CIP budget. The charter requires the Planning and Zoning Commission to review it, but we would like to add the ability for the Budget Advisory Committee to also review.
Right, I
But
think Dana had mentioned that.
But it's not mandatory, right? We're not dependent.
No.
I think that's, yeah.
Mayor, did you want the Water and Sewer Board also to have, do you want to increase the scope of this or just keep it to the BAC?
Well, we have something in the written about
Yeah,
the
we
water
do.
and sewer board, don't we?
We do.
Yes, the Water Board also has the ability to review CIP, but only those CIP projects that are related to the water infrastructure and supply.
And that makes sense. That makes sense. So
We
I
have
just
not
think
historically
could
had
do
them
with
review
it.
the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think early on when I was on it, we did, but then that just sort of dropped off.
Technically, I think council has the ability to ask any board or commission to review anything, but
Yeah.
I think it's just weird that, I mean, the charter is why there's some concerns because the charter specifies P and Z will, but I think council has the authority to ask anyone.
I would, yeah, I would agree with that. I think council can certainly ask any committee to review it if it's totally within council's discretion.
You know, Kendra, if whoever's presenting that night with this could just really make that clear, that we have a lot more opportunity than we think we do, and it's okay to do that. I know we've had council members on in the past who've been really sticklers about this, like, no, they don't have the right to do that. And
Sure.
so I just think we should be a little bit clearer that no, council actually can do a lot of this stuff already.
Yep. Happy to, I'll put that in my notes.
All right, well, looks like we're ready to move on to the first motion, which is overview draft capital and one-time supplemental budget expenditure list. I'm sorry, this actually was pulled forth for the 19th, but this is now part of the supplemental, Jade. It'll roll into the budget supplemental, which I think is a little further down.
Gotcha.
And I'm sorry, I probably didn't make that clear.
No worries. I'm trying to edit the page, so bear with me. I may need to just hop off really quick and like re-share my screen. But let me try one more thing.
And we'll just move on. Q1 2021 strategic plan dashboard and progress update. And then electronic records information management system RFP approval. So this is the clerk's office bringing this forth. Motion approving the first amendment to preliminary development agreement with SKB. Award of contract to Pro Pipe Inc. for North Inglewood Storm Sewer Cleaning Project. Emergency Operation Plan approval and 2021 budget supplemental. And then the next item is the IGA with RTD for the trolley, an IGA with Arapahoe County for CDBG funds, approval of intergovernmental, an IGA with CDOT for design and construction of Dartmouth traffic calming corridor, IGA with Tri-Cities regarding the homelessness plan of action, and Mayor, you may not know what that is. That's actually just to document the fact that we're sharing the cost of the action plan.
Okay.
We're a little late getting this done.
Okay.
You may remember Devin agreed to take on that IGA, so we're just now getting it done.
I thought, are we ready to go with the whole thing? And we've got some IGAs going now?
We were waiting on another city until
Yeah.
Tim just said, I'm doing this.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we have CB12, vacation and public right-of-way, and CB11 amendment regarding addressing council. That's it.
All right.
Which is a lot.
Were those both 7-0?
They were,
Mm-hmm.
all of them were.
Did you want to look at
They were
the
6-0.
Oh.
But that's still good enough.
Did you want to quickly glance and see if these that are labeled consent question mark are,
Yeah.
which I do think the IGA for Tri-Cities, it's very low dollar amount. It's consistent with what we've been doing. I think that one could be.
Yeah. It's just,
The trolley is every year. I don't think we have major changes there.
no.
I see that, Jade, you didn't put possible consent under CDBG. That's also done every year, though.
Let's do that on consent.
Dartmouth
Last
will
night-
we pulled.
I'd say, yeah, I say
Okay.
no on traffic calming.
Yeah, no, that one's got to be out. So last night, just a point of clarification for me. Last night, if I had Rita ask her questions before we actually did the consent agendas, could we have just left it the way it was and do them all at once, or would that not be appropriate, Stephanie? Or
I believe we have done that in the past, but Kendra certainly may want to weigh in. So Kendra, essentially we do one motion for consent agenda items. There were several that a council member had questions on, so they got pulled, and then we had to consider them independently on each one. So the mayor's question is, could we, before there was a motion to approve consent agenda items, could the question be asked? So then, therefore, if it was satisfied, keep them on consent.
If there's just a simple question, I usually say yes. If it's just, is this number correct? But if it's going to be a discussion of more than one council member, I say pull it, if you know what I'm saying. So if it's a very simple question, I wasn't there for this meeting, what was the vote, for example? You can say, it was whatever it was. But if it's not simple like that, I would have them pulled off and discuss.
yeah, they weren't just simple. I mean, some of them were, but I mean, unfortunately, some of them. Well, anyway, it was a bundle of 5 or 4 of them that were related.
Okay.
And so for questions actually related to almost all of them at once. And once she got those answered, then, she was ready to go. And I'd suggested we rebundled them, but then I realized, no, we pulled them. We can't rebundle them.
Yes. Yeah. Once you pull them, you can't rebundle them. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll check in with you if that happens again before the meeting. So we'll know, because in her case, often she'll tell us what the questions are. And before the meeting.
That's what obviously that's what I tried to get my elected officials to do, is to send any questions to me or staff prior to the meeting. And if we can get them answered offline, then that's the best option. But sometimes that doesn't work.
Well, oftentimes they don't come until later in that day. If they came earlier, it might be easy to get done, but it might be a way to get around this and just set some time aside for those to get answered before the meeting, Shawn. I don't know if it works for you all, though.
Yes, we can certainly do that.
Okay. We could just maybe set aside a half hour when we know she's gonna pull things, because she's usually the one who pulls things. The other one last night was something I think several of us wanted pulled just because we weren't sure we liked the language of the BAs or the address, noting address from residents.
Actually, Mayor, I might push back a little and suggest that be put into your council policies if you wanted us to do that. Just so far as some of the questions would likely have a broader audience who might be interested in those. So I wouldn't want to try to usurp the discussion. But would that make sense to maybe potentially propose that as a policy that we would?
Well, I mean, all of us would always be interested in something someone asks, but do we need to do it? Do we need to pull it to get it? I mean, some of us knew all the information that was being asked already because we have so many council requests around some of what was pulled in the last couple of times. So
Gotcha.
I think there's often many things that have been already shared with us, and that's what I get more worried about than if it's new stuff, I get it. But if it's stuff we've done before, that's where I think it gets frustrating to other members, or at least I hear from other members. So I don't know. Fine.
Yeah, we can probably do that. All right. Are there others, Jade? Can you scroll up to see if there are others that could be consent?
Yep, so it'll be this, just these 3 in this section.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Did we get it?
SKB.
Yeah, that won't be.
Okay, no.
The Pro Pipe looks like it may be a new contract.
It is new.
No.
It is new, and I agree. I mean, if you're implying that one doesn't need to be consent, probably. The EOP, you actually have looked at this in study session, but oh, it's already marked yes, so that's great.
Actually, just real quick, Shawn. So regarding the storm sewer cleaning project, don't we do that every year? I'm just.
We actually don't. You may remember last year we hired, well, it was in 2019, you funded, in 2020 we hired 2 staff members who have been doing this, a lot of this work. And so this is the first time we've ever had a contract for it.
So this is going out again for it rather than having 2 staff do it?
I'm going to have to look into that. I didn't realize we were using a contractor until I saw this on the agenda, because I know we hired 2 folks to do that. So I can give you some more information.
I think if it is this, I think keep it off of consent, put it on regular, because people are going to ask the same questions.
Great. And then the EOP, that's the one you've reviewed in study session, but your call on whether that should be. I think we marked yes, but
I think we were all fine with it. We got all of our questions answered.
Great. And then the budget supplemental.
Oh, I think that needs to be on regular, don't you think?
I was actually going to say yes.
You think yes on consent?
I say yes on consent just because we covered it again last night, didn't we?
We did. There'll be a couple of new things in the communications budget that we're having to adjust. But it's your call still.
I just think, well,
that's fine. It's a big dollar amount, so I could understand.
It's a big dollar amount, I think.
Is this?
Probably, yeah.
Can I just ask? Is this a budget amendment? What is this one?
Yes, we call budget amendments here budget supplementals.
Okay. Typically, you have to have a public hearing on a budget amendment. Have you already had that?
Well, apparently we do these by resolution.
And resolution's fine. It does need a public hearing under the local government budget law, though.
Okay.
Good to know.
I will let Jackie know that.
Okay. And I'm happy to work with whoever. It's kind of an odd duck because it doesn't have any specific requirement about when the notice needs to go in or anything like that, but it does say it must be a public hearing.
Okay.
You know, I think I remember us having to do that once before, a long time ago.
Yeah, it may have been an Allison thing that we didn't do that. I'm not sure, but glad to do it. All right, I think that wraps up that meeting. If you want to go down to the next date, which is April 26th. We have 4 study session items right now. Preliminary preview of the CIP, consideration of local improvement district for alley paving in the 4300 block of Acoma and Broadway, monthly financial update, and then the survey results from our off-leash community survey. And moving down, May 3rd, we have study session on organized garbage and recycling collection, the RFP, to review that. And I think last night the committee went long and was hashing that out. The trash committee. We have a proclamation for the Small Business Resource Expo, fiber optic design engineering services. This is the loop that we're trying to build between our city facilities, our buildings. And moving on to May 10th, interview his Unified Development Code Steering Committee applicants. May 17th, HPC study session on the landmark application. And May 24th, Board and Commission interviews. And we have June 7th as the in-person date, but actually we probably need to get that on an agenda in maybe late April, Mayor.
Okay. Yeah, to talk about where we are as a.
I think what I took from the discussion is we need to firm up this plan for the audio visual, as well as the timing for the air filtration So we've got some
Okay.
questions to answer, and then we'll come back to you.
Well, and also what the rules are in being in a group together and masking. I mean, we had a council member say they refused to wear a mask.
Right.
So what do we do with that? And that'll be something, Kendra, you probably are all going to have to weigh in on.
Sounds good.
Would the 26th work to
Yes.
bring that forward?
Yeah, we
We
could,
definitely.
we are working, just so you know, we're working on sort of an overall memo on masking and things like that for a lot of our clients, because this has come up a few times, so.
Thank you.
And then if there are no other questions on the agenda, I can go over the study session items that I took down.
Great, let's do that.
All right, I have from Councilmember Russell, what is the current illegal dumping policy? And she was specifically asking about mattresses. What's the city policy regarding?
Yeah, just a sec on that one. That one really does worry me more so if we can't pick up mattresses. Those were the items that when we did have flooding that were the most egregious in blocking things. Even if we just, you know, I don't know. I know people dump illegally all the time. It's so frustrating, but yeah, if we had a unified trash hauling, it wouldn't be a problem, right?
Yes, honestly, I mean,
That's-
if
I
we really
refrained
are going to
from
pick
saying
up
that
illegal,
last night.
yeah, large pickup kind of stuff as a staff, we're going to need additional
Yeah.
resources for that for sure.
I know the police though have done it in some areas where they've seen like, you know, but it's usually been out in those, like looking out in industrial areas, looks like people have dumped things. Because I was on a ride along one night where they reported it.
Well, honestly, we do it all the time, but the official policy is we don't do it.
Yeah.
And so that really allows us to try to get the property owner to take care of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of exceptions are made for that. And then last but not least, oh wait, I didn't read the second one. What is the city policy regarding responding to court orders? If the city is ordered by a court, what is our policy to respond to those? And then legalities, are there any conflicts related to removing charter limits on the budget advisory committee? I think that's actually just needs to be a study session as opposed to, I'm having staff help me with the council request, but I don't think that one, I'm not going to call that one a council request since we're putting it on the agenda.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, so Shawn, then the ending the state of emergency, was that a council request or is that a study session item?
I think that was a request for a study session item. I don't know if that was agreed to or not.
I don't think it was, but could we make it a council request of what are the ins and outs of it all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know you've been working on it when you're ready with it.
Yes, I will convert that to a council request right now.
So that one, and the other one that I had as a future study session item was just, and I don't know where we stood on it, but just paving the alleys. So I don't think we agreed to actually have it as a study session item, but just earmark it for potentially speaking about it.
Yeah, let's put it on that docket and then we can talk whether or not. And the Dr. Cog demography, we already did that one, didn't we? So
yes, we can take that off.
Or that was the area aging. Agency.
And actually, everyone, I have to jump on to a 9 o'clock call, so.
That's fine.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
I have a question though. Oh gosh, now let's see, what was it? Oh, the Dr. Douglas one. I think this was on because we were talking about having him on earlier, weren't we? I don't know if it needs to be on anymore unless we think we want to have an update from him as we go out of this whole thing. I don't know that council, I think we can take it off. I'm not hearing council saying they want to meet with him.
Mayor, before Othaniel jumped off, was he saying a council request on paving alleys?
You know, I think it would be smart to put out what we've already done that. We've put out a lot of stuff on that in the past. I would not want any, I mean, there was a whole thing of how much it costs. We have new council members too, at least that, member Anderson and member Ward might not know any of the background for the costs and things like that. Can we just pull up old stuff on that? It's not that old, but.
Yeah, we can do that. We might just update that.
I'll just make it a council request from me. Can you get any back information that we've had about paving alleys to inform everybody again?
Perfect.
I think Maria had done a lot of work on that.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on here?
I just want to double confirm. I didn't hear a solid yes or no, but do you want the 26th to be the date where we return or bring back the discussion of in-person meetings?
Oh, yeah. Will you all be ready with info by then? Probably, right? Does that work
I
for you,
think we
Shawn?
will be. Hopefully Kendra will be prepared for that. Kendra, is April 26th enough time for you all to prepare that memo on returning to in-person?
Yes, no problem.
Of course, something will change a couple times between now and then.
That happens all the time because the public health order will change. I think what we'll do is write the memo saying if the public health orders say this, then this. If the public health orders have been lifted or relaxed, then this.
Yeah. Well, and going from blue to yellow is not a good thing. I was disappointed to hear we were heading that way, but it looks like we all could be heading that way with this new variant now. We just got to hold on, get a lot of people vaccinated.
Right.
Okay. And then I don't know, Kendra, if you have a minute for me to give you a call, I wanted to talk with you about one of our commissions and requests that they had. I don't know, Shawn, if we should do that now or.
Either one, just I can stay on here or whatever works for y'all.
Well,
yeah, we can jump off if you like.
Or yeah, because it's not really mayor manager meeting.
Okay.
Yep, we can stop the recording and then we can all jump off.
Okay.
Do you want to close this out?
So, pardon?
Sorry, you're about to do it.
Yeah. The time is now 9:04 and this meeting, mayor manager, is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good
Thank
week.
you.
Thank you. Have a good